Chapter 1. The World of Business and Its Environments. What should I gain from this chapter? Firstly, you should have an understanding of what business is and the terms that are used in business. Secondly, you should understand how business has changed with advancements in technology. You should also have an understanding of how businesses are classified and the five elements of business environments. Finally, you should have an understanding of how options in business will change in the future. Most people that start a business usually begin with an idea. They have a product or service that they would like to supply to the community in exchange for revenue. Unfortunately, according to the data from the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, about 20% of businesses fail within the first year. And by the time the remaining businesses reach the end of their fifth year, that percentage balloons to 50%. What causes businesses to fail at such a tremendous rate? Having passion and a desire may not be enough to ensure that your business thrives. A deeper understanding of all the aspects that go into launching and maintaining a successful business is a necessity to ensuring that your business does not fall into that category. Let's begin to explore what factors are vital to developing long term success for your new endeavor. Is simply having a good idea enough? All signs point to no. Having a solid business plan and being aware of how all factors, both internal and external, affect your business is key. Let's begin our talk with first trying to understand what business is. A business can be a person, partnership, or corporation that seeks to provide a good, something tangible, or service, something intangible, for sale. Goods have to be made or put together. So, this sector of business is called the manufacturing sector, while a service is provided to a customer. Let's see if you can differentiate between the two by me naming a couple of well known businesses and having you to determine if they're in the manufacturing sector or the service sector. These companies are so pervasive in our world that we have a tendency to forget that their goal is revenue. The simple fact that you can identify or use their products means you are an active participant in business. Many of the companies started out as a simple idea, but because of the efforts of an entrepreneur, these individuals were able to turn their ideas into reality and receive huge returns on their initial investments. These initial investments involve risks. By investing time and resources to support the business risk, you could possibly become one of the richest people in the world. In fact, people like Michael Dell, the founder and CEO of Dell Incorporated, started with little more than $1,000 investment. Now his net worth is more than $17 billion. dollars. While your goals don't have to be so lofty, you can still create a business that will afford you with an amazing lifestyle because of your return on investment. As we go throughout this chapter, I want you to pay attention to the terms given throughout. They will help you to reinforce your understanding and assist you in excelling in the business world. Let's begin our understanding of business by opening up a theoretical business, let's say a hot dog stand. To the casual observer, it seems easy. Buy some hot dogs, get a cart, buns, condiments, and start selling. This simplistic view misses a lot of the aspects of going into business for yourself. Besides purchasing the basic supplies to stock and run your cart, there are many other things to consider. Will you have to work the cart continuously, or will you have help? Where should you place your cart? What quality of experience are you trying to provide to your customer? Does that incur additional costs or training? You will also have to pay taxes on your sales. Maybe apply for a permit to sell in a particular area. All these things and more must be considered. After, let's say, a week, you tabulate all of the money that you made from your sales. This is known as your revenue. From this, you must subtract every cost incurred during this week related to the business. This is called your expenses. This includes your salary and those of your employees. If you take the amount of revenue earned and subtract your expenses, from that revenue, what you are left with is your profit. What does one do with that profit? It could be pocketed or reinvested in the business in the hopes to increase the amount of revenue to eventually increase the amount of profit earned. But if we think back to the beginning of this talk, we know that about 50% of the businesses in the US fail after 5 years. This means that some of the businesses are operating in a net loss and aren't profitable. Many businesses begin with losses, but sustained losses would usually end in the business closing. This is why businesses are all about risk. Businesses that aren't profitable rarely survive. Some risks are bigger than others. And with that risk comes bigger possibilities for loss, but also profits. The old adage, without risk, there's no reward, holds true in business. Those companies that avoid risk at all costs are usually stagnant and eventually become obsolete. Those that take risks are usually those that innovate and push the standard of living for all of us. Higher standards of living are developed when the amount of goods and services people can buy with the money they have increases. This can all change in an instant as the economy grows and strengthens. This is why continual market research must be done in order to take the most calculated risks to get the greatest return on investment. Now that we have finished learning a little bit more about business, let's see if we can recall some of the concepts presented. Take some time and pause the video to answer the following questions. 1. Be able to define business and risk. Would you be willing to take a risk in order to own your own business? Try to think of the pros and cons for each stance. 2. What is the difference between revenue and profit? And how are these two related? 3. What factors might contribute to a higher standard of living? What about a lower standard of living?